Hi there, everyone. Welcome to your Earning the Incentive Trip training series. We're going to spend the next 4 weeks really getting down to the basics and the foundation of your business, that you put yourself on the path that you are able to earn the incentive trip. A lot of people say, oh, I won a trip. It's definitely not winning, because you are going to work very hard and you are going to set this as a goal, maybe even a dream, that you can earn this incentive trip. Some of you watching this have already earned it, and in the past year, so you know how phenomenal this trip is. And every single year, no matter how many times that you have earned the trip or I've earned the trip, we still have to get down to the basics so that we continue to be consistent in earning it every single year. This year, maybe you can set a goal to earn it a little bit sooner so that you don't have that pressure of having to try to get it at the very end. My goal within this training and within the training business in general is that the incentive trip is actually a byproduct of the work that you're already doing, that it is the reward, it's the gift that you get for doing a consistent hard work that every week, every day. And that it's not something that you're trying to work hard so that you earn an incentive trip. Instead, you're building a business and you're working hard, and you're just going to go ahead and get a trip while you're at it, for you and for one other. Before we start this, there's one thing I always love to spend a few minutes on. And that's, for some of you, you've never earned the incentive trip, but you've seen pictures, you've heard about it, you've seen some of the pillow gifts, and maybe you've been on a cruise before, or you've been on these luxury vacations, and you know they cost a ton of money. I took my family, on a cruise, and it was well over $15,000 to $20,000. It was crazy expensive. So when Stampin' Up does all the work, all the planning, they plan sometimes excursions for you, and they plan dinners or gatherings. They do some planning of make and takes, all those kind of things on these trips, and all of it is done for you. They book your transfers for you. They help you with all your travel arrangements. So it is like having an amazing trip without having to do any of the work. You just get to be spoiled and surprised. And every day you get to go back to your room and there's presents waiting for you. Every day you can visit with Stampin' Up staff and fellow demonstrators and be spoiled with lots of candy and snacks and more presents and more games and prizes. Stampin' Up, I will tell you, is an amazing company. But one thing that I can tell you hands down, the best thing they do is their incentive trip and their events that they hold to spoil us. They do that team, and has been, and is still there, one of the most amazing parts of this business. And it's one thing that does absolutely motivate me every year, and hope that it motivates you every year. Once you earn one, you're never going to want to miss another. So because of that, we are not going to do crazy things to try to earn this incentive trip this year. We are going to do sound, tried and true business advice that I know works, that will help you get on this trip. I'm not going to teach you things that you might want to hear, or the fluffy things that sound like, oh, this is so much fun, let's book this and hold this. And we are going to do things that really work. And at the heart of it all, every one of us, if this is your first trip, if this is your 5th trip or your 15th, we all have to get down to basics to be able to rebuild our customer base every year. Because one of the things I'm going to teach you is recruiting. And then helping your recruits be able to become leaders and build their own hobbies, or even maybe possibly a business. If that's the case, then you need to replace them in your own business. So every year we have to focus on finding new customers, growing our sales, and training our team and motivating our team. And that's exactly what we're going to cover over the next 4 weeks. But before we can begin that, we have to start at the very, very beginning. So with this week's training, well, with all 4 weeks training, you're going to have a handbook you can follow along with. It's really, I call it a handbook. It's not like It's more of my agenda that I'm going to cover. I just know for some people, you're visual learners. Some of you are audio learners. Some of you like to read. So this way, you get to see me every week. You'll get to hear me every week, and you'll also get to read along with me. I will try to follow this the best I can. I really actually talk from my head and from my heart, and that is exactly what is on here. We're also going to talk about some numbers today, and so I really think it helps to have the numbers written out so you can see them as we talk about them. So this very first week, we are going to cover some very basics. So for instance, if you're starting any new plan, if you're going to start a exercise plan, let's say, if you're going to start a new budget plan, like you're going to learn to, figure out a budget and plan moving forward how you're going to spend your money. Or if you're going to do a diet plan or an eating plan, all of these things are very awesome. Those things like that are hard, those are all hard things. Building a direct sales business is hard as well, but they all require a plan. And they all require you to really think about that plan and really build your path, your journey. What are you going to do and how are you going to get there? And we also have to, all of those require you to do some cleaning out, some clearing out, making room for the new. And that's exactly what we're going to do with this too. You need to probably tweak things a little bit. Some of you need to clean out completely so that we can start fresh with a effective calendar, an effective work schedule, your time management. When are you going to work and what are you going to do when you're working? So that's this week. We can't just dive in and add a bunch of stuff when you're already busy. When you're maybe doing things that aren't working the best, we want to tweak and make sure that when you're doing events, you are getting sales, you are getting new customers, and you are making the most of your time. We want to make sure that you're maximizing your time management because I am going to push you to do more than you've probably ever done. And if that's the case, we need to be able to do it in a way that you keep your sanity and you don't become overwhelmed. So we're going to talk about setting up a weekly schedule, a calendar, time management. People earn this incentive trip who do this part-time, some do it full-time. People who work other full-time jobs, I know people who've had 6 children and they earn this trip. I know people who, do this just as a part-time job and they earn this incentive trip. People who do work this full-time and they earn it too. So any person can earn this trip if you are disciplined and dedicated and passionate, and if you really stick to a very consistent schedule. That's what we're going to talk about. So first, we're going to set our goals and we're going to set a plan. So we're going to go over flex points and how you earn them and how much you do, and then how much you can. We start with 160,000 flex points. That's a lot of flex points. We need to break it down to see what exactly do I have to sell and buy, and do I have to recruit? What do I have to do to get those flex points? We're going to talk about cleaning and organizing your area where you're going to be working. Also cleaning and organizing a system where you have things organized. We're going to be talking about time management today. We're going to talk about gathering your support system. We need to have some emotional things in place too before we begin this journey together. Remember, we have a whole year. This is a journey. It's not a race to see who, gets it first. To be honest with you, when you go on these trips, if you're the first person to earn the incentive trip or the last person to earn the incentive trip, you are treated all the same. We get all the same gifts. Our rooms are all the same. So it's not like we get any special treatment. So don't feel like, oh my gosh, this person's earning it right away. I'm not as good. Every single person who is on that trip works very hard. And it can take you exactly 364 days, and that's okay. We're going to create some visuals. We got to be able to stay motivated. Motivation is very key. I know how humanistic we all are, and we might be all gung-ho for something, and then all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, life smacks you right in the face. Or even 2 months from now, you're going to have obstacles and struggles, and we need to stay motivated and focused on the end game all the way through. And so because of that, creating visuals will really help you to be able to remember this training, remember the things we talk about, implementing the training, and then also remind, why are you working so hard? Why are you doing this? You need to have visuals that are going to help keep you to stay motivated. Lastly, we're going to talk about believing in yourself, believing in Stampin' Up, and believing in your hobby and how powerful it can be and how it can truly change lives and impact the lives of others and impact the life of your family and impact your life. And lastly, we're going to talk about committing to stepping out of that comfort zone and putting in the work that it's going to take to get there. So let's start off with setting the number plan. This is kind of the boring part, but I feel like this is really, really important to grasp this. Now, I know some of you who are listening to this training, most of you are all setting a goal to earning the incentive trip. Whenever I have a new training client come on, we have them fill out a questionnaire, they watch a video, and we have a Zoom where we can chit-chat. I also used to do one-on-one calls with all the new training clients years ago. 99% of the people coming in, one of their goals is always to earn the incentive trip. And I love that because that also means that you should be reaching for bonuses. It also means that you should be building a solid foundation just for a healthy, profitable business, that you will be getting paid and making money doing your paper crafting hobby. So even though the incentive trip is our ultimate goal, please know that this is actually about building a strong business, a profitable business, and the trip is our byproduct from that. So these numbers I'm going to map out to you are not just to earn the trip. They will earn the trip for you, but they're also to help you maybe earn some bonuses, so you're getting some cash in your pocket. You're actually making money. It's also focusing on growing a team so that you're getting downline overrides and you're getting you'll be selling more each month, so you're maximizing your volume rebates. So you're getting more of an income. So the trip is phenomenal, and it's so worth everything you're going to put into it. It's so worth it. Every person who goes on those trips, they will tell you that. But in the meanwhile, I also have met people who put the trip as their only goal, and they've done crazy things to get there, and they killed themselves, and all of a sudden, October 1st hits and they're like, I'm done. I can't do this again. I'm so burnt out. And I don't want you to be a burnt out demonstrator. That doesn't help anybody, and that's not good for your family. It's not good for your customers, your team, or for you, or for your future. So we're going to do this on I believe, a balanced basis. Now, there's always variables to this. These are general numbers. If you go up in one, you can go down in the other. If you can't go down in all of them, it doesn't work. So you need to make sure that maybe you don't sell as much as I put out here, but that means you better have more recruits than what I tell you to have. So this is that balanced number. I know many, many people who have variables. People who have sold less than this, but they've had more recruits. People who have had more promotions. So they can balance out. I also know people who have sold more than this and have had less promotions. So you have to build off your strengths and find out what that strength is. But this is, I believe, a very healthy goal for you. So number one is sales. What we're talking about are flex points. Sales are a little bit tricky because I want to explain this to you. Once you sell your first $10,000 in sales, you get one flex point for each dollar. After that, you hit something called an accelerator, and that is what you want to get to as quick as you possibly can, because the accelerator then takes every dollar you sell after that and it times it by 5. So once you hit over 10,000, your flex points grow 5 times faster. So it's really important to reach that. So in order, if you're look at your handbook down here at the bottom, the first thing is sales. And sales to me is important, the most important, because that's where you're going to meet new customers, that you'll eventually meet new people that you can recruit. If you're not getting sales from events and customers, then you're not going to be able to get recruits and qualified recruits either. So we got to start there first. And that will be what we're going to talk about next week. The first 2 weeks, we'll be talking about new customers, and then finding new customers and then selling to them. because that's the heart and soul of then you can eventually recruit them. So the sales I put down here are $24,500. That is on average $2,000 in sales a month. That's awesome. You're hitting a much higher pay bracket when it comes to your volume rebate. Some you'll be getting paid more. And this is roughly about 2 events a week. So to usually do about $2,000 in sales, you should be doing between 8 to 10 events a week. That's only working 2 nights or 2 days on a weekend a week. So that's still a part-time job. Obviously, you'll have to have a day or two in your studio to be able to do the prep work for these events. And obviously, you'll have to have some hours during the day and other days just to do your communication and your marketing and your collecting RSVPs and so forth, working with hostesses. Now, I don't think there's probably a single person out there that can do 8 to 10 classes a month with their current customer base. I know I certainly can't. My maximum is about 2 to 3 classes an entire month with my customer size. Some people might be able to pull off 1 a week, a class, where it's your current customers. So that means you need to fill in those other events with hostesses that are bringing you in people that you can create into customers and sell to. So that is going to require you to get out of your comfort zone. So on average, the average demonstrator can do 2 events a week and probably generate between $400 to $500 in sales. Now we're going to fill in with other things. Some of your events might be smaller and some of them might be bigger. But in order to get yourself on track, you need to do this quickly. That means next month, starting in October, you need to be selling over $2,000 a month. Now, if you fall short a little bit, keep in mind we can always make up a little bit during celebration, but you don't want to get too far behind. And in order for you to do this consistently, you need to set a goal. If I can do at least $2,000 in October, and I know I can do it the rest of the year, I'll know how to do it. If you currently are not selling that per month, then you have to do some drastic things to make that happen. That means not posting more on your blog. It doesn't mean doing more Facebook Lives or doing more blogging or posting on Facebook. It means getting in front of real people, making real projects, passing out catalogs and order forms and door price forms and wish lists, and getting to sit down with people and have them order right there. That's what it's going to take for you to go from today to tomorrow or today to 6 weeks from now selling $2,000 a month. Now you can do blogging and you can do your Facebook and you can do your Facebook Live. They are just to support your current business. Now, if you already have an established online business, that's different. You need to probably maybe you could amp up and do more YouTube videos and post more, and you might generate some more sales. But if you're starting from scratch, jumping right into trying to get sales, you're not going to be able to do that. And I say that there might be a 1% variation, maybe a 0.5%, but you are not going to be able to do that within the next 6 weeks. And you can't. If you want to earn this incentive trip, you have to start off on the right foot. Again, I am not going to teach you what you want to hear. I'm going to teach you what really works. And what really works from not just what I say or what I think, but from working with thousands and thousands of demonstrators over the last 10 years and seeing them implement the plan and then seeing it work and seeing ones that don't implement the plan because I'm just going to go all online and then 6 months later they're really frustrated human beings that are like, no one ever orders from me. You're right, customers order from you and you have to build customers through a relationship. So it's really, really important. Okay, so that's your sales. We're going to talk about that lots more over the course of the next couple weeks. Next, recruits. I set a goal for you to have at least 10 recruits per year, a minimum, and that's because we need at least 5 of them to become qualified. And then the other ones can maybe even become qualified, next year. So that makes it easier for you to earn the incentive trip. Now, your next step is your 5. You don't get any points for recruits, but I think it's important to set a goal of how many recruits you're going to have per year. This is, I would say, a minimum of 10 for people who are typically earning the incentive trip. I can look, last year, my own team, I had 7 members earn the incentive trip.
In the training program alone, we had over 150. So I know their numbers. I see their numbers. And I know what it takes. And most of the people who are in the incentive trip have at least 10 recruits in a year. So do all of them qualify? Not typically, because some people are going to buy the starter kit, maybe put in an order or two, and then not do anything else. You can't really fix that. We can work towards fixing that, and we're going to talk about that the last week as well, because qualified recruits are very key. You get 5,000 flex points for each qualified recruit. You'd have to sell $5,000 to do that, or later in the year, $2,500. That's a whole month's worth of sales you can get from one person. So we are going to need to share the starter kit. So 5 qualified recruits will give you 25,000 flex points. You get 5,000. Qualified means they reach 900 CSV. They can buy that. They can sell that. They can do a combination of both. Hobbyists make great qualified recruits. They're the ones personally that get there the quickest, because they buy that starter kit and then they use their discount and they buy their way right up to that 900. So you do not have to recruit 10 business-minded demonstrators. You just got to share the kit with 10 different people. That's all. So that's qualified recruits. Now here's the key thing. Once someone becomes qualified, they can still then be your next several promotions. So one person can become a qualified recruit, 5,000 flex points. They can promote to Bronze Elite, 7,500 flex points. Then they can promote to Silver, another 7,500 flex points. So one person that you signed up during July or August, or that you sign up during September or October, that one person can generate you 20,000 flex points. So your new recruits are extremely important for you to work closely with. 20,000 flex points is a lot. And if you have 5 of those people, right there is 100,000 flex points that's based on you working with people, sharing the starter kit. Yes, I have hobbyists who are Bronze Elites. I have hobbyists who are even reached the Silver level. So business-minded demonstrators do that as well, but don't ever count out anybody to getting to that level. So we have the next step is promotions. These are for your direct recruits or people who are direct to you. So if you had a recruit and she dropped, but she had someone who signed up, that person becomes one of your directs. They do not become a level 1, they stay a level 2, but they do count for you. So if they promote, you'll get the flex points for them. So next year we have to have a goal to have at least 6 of them promote to Bronze Elite or above. Now that means they could promote to Bronze Elite, Silver, Silver Elite, Gold, and above. So we need to have at least 6 of those. That's going to give you 45,000 flex points. Now I really like to have 8, because when you have 8 on there, then you get to get a 1,600 CSV bonus. I also forgot to put out there, and I put it down below, but when you get those 5 qualified recruits, guess what? You also get $700. So hitting these numbers are not just about the trip. They're also about money in your pocket, and anybody can earn these bonuses when you focus on them and you're working towards them. I really think anybody can. And again, the more promotions you have, the less that you have to sell to be able to earn the trip. And then lastly, there are recurring title benefits. And in October and April, whatever your title is, you will get recurring points. I put on average here, that's $8,000 or 8,000 flex points. Depending on what your title is, I'm going to guess it's going to be Silver or eventually Silver Elite. Most people who earn the trip are Silver or Silver Elites. So you will have those recurring flex points. I also put in here your own personal promotion. So when you promote to Bronze Elite, you promote to Silver, you promote to Silver Elite or Gold, you get flex points as well. So I put title benefits in there. I just did 8,000. That's probably shooting a little low. I'd rather shoot lower and then have you go over. So all that together is 160,500. Again, I'd rather have you go over so that you've got some flex points at the end of the year that you can get catalogs with or use for an onstage registration or something like that. But this is a very balanced plan for you to set your goals. Or you can sell $40,000 all by itself. You'll never, and then it's all on you and all on your shoulders. So
we're going to talk about this goal sheet, and I'll send this to you so you can fill it out. But I really like to do very realistic goals as we're doing this. We want to see where you're at now and where you have to go and the difference you have to make. So instead of saying, oh, I'm just going to do $2,000 a month, instead, let's say, what do you typically sell? Do you typically sell $1,000 a month? So that means I have to double what I'm doing in order to reach my $2,000 a month. So if you currently hold 4 events a month, you need to hold 8 events a month. And those are events that are generating sales. This is not just we are going to talk about doing some events that are funnels that you won't get paid for, but they're going to be leading you to people who are going to be coming to your events and spending and buying, and you holding some hosted events. So I want you to take the time. This is one of your homework assignments, and you are going to log in exactly what you sold last year in every one of these months. And then what do you need to increase that by? Figure out the dollar amount, and then you're going to know, obviously, what your goal is for this year. Because here's the deal. There's some months where you might sell $3,000, like in January or March or even October. October can be one of your biggest months. Then you're going to have months like December where you might only do $1,500 because it's a much slower month. So you want to have realistic goals. So if you know you're probably not going to sell as much in December, you know you're going to be able to do more in another month. You can map that out by looking at what you did this year. What were some of your bigger months this year? What were some of your harder months? So that you plan ahead, that you combat those peaks and valleys. So when also, you're going to put how many recruits did you have last year and how many recruits do you want to have this year. I also put on here by March, because all of the recruits you have by the end of celebration, then they will have 6 months to be able to become qualified and to promote to bronze elite and potentially silvers. So really you're going to want to have your 8 to 10 recruits by the end of March. Also, I put in here some numbers in here for you to keep track of who you might currently have some team members who have the potential to promote. You can fill this in with their names. People that you believe will promote to bronze elite or can promote or still will have the ability to become qualified. These are people you can already count in your bucket, which is really cool. But then the other ones, we have to go out there and find. So we always build from what we have. And then what do we have to do in order to reach the goals that we want to set forth. Lastly, how much do you want to earn in bonuses? You can map that out. And are you going to shoot for the incentive trip? Absolutely, you're here on this call. And do you have any other additional goals that you want to set forth for yourself this year? Those are just personal specific goals. So this is a goal sheet that you need to fill out. And then you can create your own or use this template. You can also share this with your upline. You can share it with our group that we're going to have, with our incentive trip group. You can share it with sidelines. And we're going to talk about forming those support people and making sure that we're always sharing with. First up, we have to clean out the old. This is not busy work. This is actually very important. Cluttered spots give cluttered minds, and we get very overwhelmed. So we have to get rid of the clutter. Clutter in our stamp rooms, get rid of all the retired stuff. We're going to put it aside, and we can have sales with that down the road. I always use retired product to help build my current business. We want to clarify our brains, clear it out. That means we need to clear out around us. We got to set up some work systems. So here's another homework assignment. We need to have before and afters. Like, just snap a quick picture of what it looks like before. And then this week, we have to set aside a time, schedule a time when you are going to take a couple hours to clean your area. You're going to have to detach yourself emotionally from stuff. You can set up a huge box for donations. If it's old paper, again, if it's all good shape, then you can use it to sell at a sale, and we'll teach you about getting sales through that as well. But we need to clean this week. So look at your calendar. What day can you fit in some hours or days? Some of you might take several days to clean this up. Now, one thing I've noticed about some of my
awesome team members or training clients is that they take weeks to do this. And that's not what I want here. This is not like, let's redesign my craft room and take weeks, because that can be busy work. I want you to pick 2 to 3 hours, focus, get help if you need to, and clean off your desk, clean out your stamp room, put everything away. Sometimes if I'm really like pushed for time, I will get boxes and I'll just shove everything in there, put the boxes away, and then I will go through my boxes later when I have some time that I can set aside. Honestly, if I'm not using it the last 6 months, I probably don't need it anyway. And a lot of my things go into like a door prize bucket or a giveaway bucket or something like that. But we also need to set up some organizational systems. All of what I talk about is very simple. We have a 4-folder system. I have my 4 folders over there on my desk. You might have 5 folders. I actually have 5 folders, but when I started it, it was always a 4-folder system, so I still call it that. You can see here I have five things down here. A brand new notebook, a notebook to take notes for this in, a notebook to keep track of your homework in, a notebook for you. I like to keep everything in one place. I have 1 notebook, and it's back to school sale right now, so I picked up 5 notebooks. That lasts me pretty much usually one skinny notebook will last me 1 month. So this time I got the 3 subject notebooks, and I got 5 of them, and I got them in all pretty colors. So they will probably last me all year. And then next year I'll need to get new notebooks again. But I keep everything in one place. You're going to want to have a calendar or a planner where you can make sure that you're keeping track at a glance of all of your events that you have. Family events first, that are very important. And then your events, your skeleton calendar needs to go in every single month. And also, one of the things that helps me is an actual weekly calendar. So your planner may have this in there, it may not. I actually print this off. I print off 4, and then I staple it together. And then that way I break down every day by the hour. Like, what am I going to do from this hour to that hour, this hour to that hour? And because otherwise it can all go phew, and before you know it, the whole day is done and you wasted time. So if there's things you need to accomplish, I usually tell you to schedule them as early as you can in the day. That's possible. For those of you who work full-time, you might have to get up an hour early to work. You might have to come home from work and work for an hour. When I leave here, I go home and I work for another hour and a half. So I may leave my studio by 3, but I'm not done working until usually 5. And then I'm mom, and I have to run kids around, and I have to do taxing and dinner and all those things, games. But you need to write that down. When are you going to do the things that you need to do? Some of my work has to get done at night once my kids go to bed. I don't recommend that every night because you can really exhaust yourself, and you can make your husband resent your business or your spouse or your partner if you're not going to bed with them every night. Now, you talk to your support person and you say, okay, I'm going to have to put in some more hours. There's going to be 1 or 2 nights a week where I'm going to stay up a little bit later to get things done. So for me, it's a Wednesday night, and then usually 1 other night a week. And I'll just pre-plan, but I've talked about that with him, so he comes to expect it, and he doesn't resent my business because he's prepared for it. So, but that is on my daily calendar. That is what's on there. I do all my uploading and video work after the kids go to bed on Wednesday. So you're going to form your own schedule of the hours that you're able to give, but it needs to be organized. It needs to be written down so that you are holding yourself accountable. You can. I don't care how busy you are. I know people who are extremely busy, and they make this work because they're organized. So sometimes it's just organizing your time is what you really need to do, and looking forward with that. So looking ahead to the time that you're going to do. Okay, so cleaning your stamp room. Again, it's not just busy work. It's very important. We need a completely clean and organized desk. I want to see your 4-folder system. Typically, a 4-folder system will be open orders that you have to still place, that you still have work to do on them. This is also a place where I can, because you don't want orders to fall through. Now here, this is not just customer orders. This is also people I need to ship prizes to. This is people that I need to ship kits to or classes to. things, people who've ordered things, these are orders that I need to still work on. So that has helped me a lot to stay on top of some of those things that keep falling through the cracks. I have a folder where these are orders that need to be placed, Stampin' Up orders. People email it to me. I can stick it in there when I'm trying to collect payment, but you need to keep one place where you have all the orders that you need to fill. Again, personally, I do online classes. People will pay me on the side, or um, things aren't always perfect. So anything I need to do with an order goes in that folder. So I have actually some blank paper in there that I can just jot down, oh, so-and-so needs this, and here's her address. I put price patrols in there, so I know those are orders that need to be filled. Leads. So this is where I keep door price forms. Any lead that I've got, like if I meet somebody, one thing I always do the lead is when I'm passing out a business card, I collect their information. So their email address, their phone number, their address. Obviously, we're going to work a lot with door price forms. We're going to talk about door price forms a lot next week. And so this is a folder where you're going to keep those door price forms straight. These are your leads that you still need to work on. Sending them cards, texting them, emailing them, following up with them. The next I have is a registration folder. So it's a place where I keep track of all the events I have coming up, and then people are registering or paying. I have to keep explicit lists so that those things are not falling through the cracks as well. The next one is my thank you folder. So this is where I put my closed orders where I'm able to then send my thank you card. Once they're there, then those orders get filed in away. But they don't go there until their orders are placed, until thank you cards are sent, and then they can go into like my storage system. So but I also put in here just cards to send in general. Maybe you have a sick customer, someone who's a loved one passed away, and you want to make sure you're sending cards out to your customers, even family or friends. I put them in there. Again, I have a piece of paper where I might just jot a name down, or I put an address in there, or something that reminds me to make sure I send them a card. And then I also have a last one where I keep all my new recruit checklists. So I know where I'm at with any new recruit that I've had. Have we had our initial call? Are they on the Facebook group? Do they have their events planned? Have we been communicating? Have they gotten their welcome card? Have they gotten scheduled events? Have I sent them their welcome email with a video? And so what have I done with them? I need to check it off to make sure. So grab that notebook to take notes and keep all of your to-dos in one place. My notebook, I wanted to show it to you, but it is a place where I have a to-do list that's going on there all the time. And I don't turn that page until everything is checked off. Now, sometimes things don't get checked off, and then I have to move them to the next list. But typically every day I'll have a to-do list of things that have to get done. But it's all in one place. It's not all over the place. Fill in that weekly calendar. Even if you want to see where you possibly could have time, just do this as an exercise. Like fill in, okay, I work from here to here on these days. Okay, I have to get the kids ready here, or I have to take care of my parents here. I have yoga here, or I exercise here, or I have this here. Fill all those things in. And then you're going to be surprised, actually. Oh my gosh, I have an hour here. Well, I could do my marketing there. I can always do email work there. And I like to do email work at the beginning of the month. Oh, I have a 4-hour time slot here. That's when I can do my prep work for all of my events for the rest of the week. So when you find your pockets of time, then you won't feel so overwhelmed if I don't have any time. Here's a key thing. Maybe it's all full. And then you're going to have to start taking some things out. Where are you going to plug in time to work your business? So you might have to, juggle some things around so that you have dedicated time as to when you're going to be working. Okay, so I put on here, which I've already told you, that some of the busiest people I know earn this incentive trip. But I'll tell you what they do not do is waste time. They're sending out their own emails first before they're taking time to read emails. They're posting on their own Facebook pages and their own Facebook groups before they're taking time to read everybody else's Facebooks. You do your own blogging before you read other people's blogs. You don't watch TV and waste time watching TV unless you're multitasking. I actually know a lot of very successful people who love TV, but they have it going on while they're doing their prep work, while they're preparing and working in their studio. So as long as you have a TV going while you're working, then that will be okay. On the other hand, I'm the opposite. I work very, very hard and long hours. And so when I get home, sometimes I have a really difficult time decompressing and I always think, what do I have to do next? What do I have to do next? And so I have to step away from life in order to be able to decompress and take that time with my family. So usually I will do things with my family outside. We will play games and they'll be scheduled. Or one of my favorite things to do with my children is watch Survivor on Wednesday nights. So that's a planned thing that we do. And I don't work. I don't multitask. I give my kids 100% of me while Survivor is on. And so it's okay to watch TV when you are doing it very sparingly or while you're multitasking. One of the biggest wasters is watching other people's blogs or videos when you're not actually doing your own. So now there's hobbyists out there that I love to watch videos. Go right ahead. I'm talking to you. When you want to build a business, you can watch other people's videos and Facebook Lives if it's inspiring you, if it's motivating you to make something. If it's making you feel bad about yourself because you're comparing yourself, don't watch them. If you're wasting time by watching them and you're not actually making what you're watching, don't watch them. But if they inspire you, then go right ahead. But you need to be making sure that you are doing your things first. And they're also very disciplined with a calendar. They know when to say no. I will be honest with you. I don't go to every single one of my kids' volleyball games. I go to all but maybe one or two. I don't make every single one of Carter's soccer games, and it doesn't make me a bad mom. I'm a great mom, but I have to be able to say no to some good things so that I can say yes to some really good things as well. I also say no to working a lot when I have to be with my family, and so there's a balance. You have to know when to say no. I also think that your kids seeing that you have to sometimes work, or your spouse seeing that it's a priority, they treat you with respect when it comes to that. Now, it's again, I go to 90% of their events, but there are times where I have to sacrifice. There's times when I might have to miss a thing with friends because I have a retreat that day, or because I have a workshop or a craft fair. Sometimes we have to say no to some really good things. We have to make sacrifices. I do not make everything I want to go to. I have to put my business as a priority. And the thing is, I think that people respect me for that. I also miss some business things because my family is a priority as well. It's a balance. You have to know to not allow yourself to feel guilty because you might be missing some things with your kids. Guess what happens when I miss some things with my kids? My husband takes them, and he gets to spend that quality one-on-one time there. Sometimes I have one of their really good friends that takes them, and they get to spend that time together. I have older children that step up and take my son to where he needs to go, or my daughter, or they're there to support each other. They're strengthening their relationships and their bonds. We actually have a really good friend that I've hired and paid to help me with traveling with the kids in places and driving to practices. And now my kids have another person in their life that loves them and protects them and teaches them and mentors to them. So sometimes you need to step out of the picture so other people can step into the picture for your family and for your friends. And again, I'm not saying this is something that I do every time, but you will have to make some sacrifices if you're going to build your business. Okay, so consistency is probably the key most factor in anything that we're going to do. You can't take a month off and think that you're going to be able to still earn a trip. Now, I think right now of a woman that training client, her name was Judy, and she was like, I have to take the whole month of July off. I have a missions trip, and then my family's coming home, and I have a wedding. What am I going to do? And I said, you don't take a whole month off. You can work a couple days to start off the month. You can come home and plan to do a couple days when you get home. You may have to move things around. You may have to change things up a little bit, but you don't have to take a whole month off. And this is the cool part. She had more sales that month than she had ever had because she planned ahead and prepared a little bit beforehand, and she had a little bit when she came home. But she still took off 3.5 weeks of the month. So um, you can plan ahead. You also have to make sure when you're consistent, it's because you're working because you're supposed to, not because you feel like it. If you're running your business by your emotions, you're going to struggle. We're women. We get hormones, and a lot of times we don't feel like working, but when things are planned consistently, you'll get it done. So it's important to not run your business by emotions. You don't send an email because, oh, I'm afraid someone's going to unsubscribe or not like to hear from me. You send an email because you're supposed to. It's your marketing. It is your marketing job, is what you do. You're going to talk to people and offer your business because it's your job, not because I'm so scared. If you're feeling emotions with your business and that's depicting what you do, then you're going to struggle. Trust me, I'm not a cold-hearted person. I have a lot of emotions in my business, and a lot of good ones and a lot of tough ones and everything in between. But when you do your business, you do it because you're supposed to. So that is all based on a calendar. That's based on a to-do list, not if you feel like it or not. Your calendar should look exactly the same every single month, and then you can add in some fun things. You should not be setting your calendar up from scratch every single month. It should be consistently the same, and then you plug in some fun events and hostesses to make you reach your goals. Okay, so that's your skeleton calendar. You want to make sure you're putting that in. So when is your monthly meeting? A team meeting is one of the most important things you can have. Either attend one or hold your own. That should go first and foremost. Next, when is your monthly card class? That needs to be in there. Maybe you do 2 monthly card classes. And then when is maybe you're going to have a paper pumpkin night? Maybe you're going to have a kit night. So these are things that you put in there that are there every single month. Then guess what? Now we got to plug in other things every month. So those are events where you're going to have hostesses. So get that skeleton calendar done and set. And you can do that for the next year because it's the same thing. It's the same time every month. The events are the same. That helps with being busy. That helps with being overwhelmed. It really helps with it. Next, we're going to gather your support system. This is key. You need support in this. You're going to need help. You're going to need cheerleaders. You're going to need helpers. You're going to need people who got your back and that will help you no matter what. So you need to share your dream and your goal of earning the incentive trip. This is a dream, but it's also a goal because you're going to work until it gets done. This cruise is going to be amazing, and you will need the support of those around you. You're going to share this with everyone. Everyone. Don't hide it under a rock. You need to let people know this is what you're working towards and how can they help you? How can they support you in this goal and in this dream? If someone ever came to me, one of my friends or my sister or my mother or anybody came to me and said, I have this dream and this goal, I'd be like excited for them. And then they would say, how can I help them reach that? You're going to do the same thing. Number one, your spouse or your partner. What can they do to help you? They can help you more out at home. You might not be able to do laundry as much. You might need some help with cleaning. You might need some help with running the kids around, but you're going to need help. They can also help you by talking about what you do to their coworkers. They have wives that might really enjoy what they're doing. I love it when I see husbands that are on the trip. They will help their wives get parties or bookings because of that. They will. You just have to ask them. That's how they can help you. They can help you bring in new customers as well. Next is your kids. If you have kids, grown or young, ask them to be patient with you and understanding when maybe you might miss a thing or you might be busy with your stamp room. You're not playing. You're actually really working. They can help with household chores. Or they can help even in your stamp room with those repetitive actions. I love Ange McKay. Her boys get to go on the incentive trips, and they have to dump her trash every week. They have to vacuum her stamp room. They have to clean up after their ladies. They have to help with the big shot. Like, they earn their spot to be able to go on these incentive trips. My children all work for me. They all do. and I always have. And it's a way for them to be a part of my business so that they can see how hard their mom works and why she works and what is she doing this for anyway. Next, oh, by the way, your kids have friends that have moms. They are, I mean, I can't tell you how many moms of my kids' friends have helped me book parties or come to classes or, do things like that. So you have to use those kids as much as you can. I've done one of my big things was I do a lot of mom and me classes through my kids' friends. So I use my kids' friends and then have their moms. Yeah, I use them. It's okay. We're trying to earn a trip here. So you can use them to be able to tap into their parents. Next is your family and your friends, both things. To be patient with me when sometimes I miss out on some gatherings. Know my heart is that I would love to be with you, but sometimes work has to come first. So please be patient for me. And please book a party to help me. I need it to get out into a new customer base. So please have a fun card. Ladies, it'd be fun, I promise. A ladies' night out, a wine and card night, a Sunday tea brunch, a kit party. But I need your help. Number one, with your patience, and number two, let's book something right now. Don't wait till the end. Do it now during this fall season, because then that way you can get bookings from their bookings to be able to help you to find more customers and find more sales. Your downline. Share your goals and dreams with them. Your downline needs to know this year I am going to set a goal to earn the incentive trip, and you're going to be able to be a part of that. When you promote, I earn flex points as well. So let's do this together. What can I do to help you? Because you're going to be helping me. Your customers. This is one of the first things I did when I remember I earned my first incentive trip. I was so far away. It was crazy far away. But I shared this goal with my customers because I needed them to book some parties. And I said, I have this crazy goal of earning this Hawaii trip. Will you help me by booking a party? And then by placing orders. And all of them came so into, are you there yet? Are you there yet? Are you getting closer? So share this with your customers. Lastly, with your sidelines and fellow demonstrators. Encouragement when you're feeling low is going to be necessary. You're going to need these people to support you. Or when you're feeling like you're going to be ready to give up. It's going to be really hard to give up when you've already told your spouse, your kids, your downline, your customers, your friends, your family that you are earning this trip. You can't give up. And number one, because you said you're going to do it, you need to do it. And they'll see you working hard, and they'll want to come up behind you when you're feeling low. And they may even, again, offer some ways to support and help you. But your fellow sidelines will be there maybe to help give you some ideas on classes, to encourage you. Those of you who are part of the Creating Success team, this is exactly who we are. We are there to support you every single day. Being a part of this training, we are your sidelines. We are your fellow demonstrators. We're going to walk the same steps with you. So we'll be there to lift you up because we're all going to struggle from time to time. This is not going to be a cakewalk. It is going to be fun and exciting, and it's fun to have like a big goal you're working towards, but then there's going to be the day-to-day grind. There's going to be no's, there's going to be disappointments and cancellations that you have to work through so that there's going to be yeses and promotions and new recruits and sales and promotions and exciting things that will happen as well. Lastly, we're almost up with our time, so this is perfect. You need to create your visuals. You're going to hit roadblocks along the way, and so you have to be passionate about what we're doing. You need to plow through those times, and having a visual will help you do that. So create pictures, find pictures of the Symphony of the Seas. They have it is the most amazing cruise ship. And I've been on, I think 12 cruises, 15 cruises, a lot of cruises. And this is by far the most amazing ship that I've ever seen. I'm actually really excited about going on it. So you want to make sure that what is it that's motivating you? It could just be a picture of you and your spouse together. Personally, that is what the trip is for me. It's a time for my husband and I to reconnect away from the craziness of the world where it's all paid for. So it's stress-free. Um, we love this time together. So that's my motivation. Also, to be able to, maybe some of you want to take your children with you. And so that's your goal. You need to earn those bonuses to be able to pay for it. But what an amazing experience that cruise ship will be to take your kids on. It's crazy. It has like a rock climbing wall. It has zip lines. It has a go-kart right in the middle. I love go-karts, so I can't wait to do that with my kids. So you need to, some people make those like display boards with all the different kinds of pictures. What are those called? Oh, vision boards. You can create a vision board. You can change the display on your computer or your phone so that every day you see what you're working for. I love that. This is what I'm pushing myself for, and because. Prepare yourself that this is going to take all year. Set a goal of reaching that $10,000 as soon as you can, usually by the end of March, and then you're really on track. Keep working until the very, very end. I see amazing things happen, miracles happen all the time. I see people who are not on track, but during celebration, they explode. So no matter what, never, never, never give up. Because you can get flex points very quickly by recruiting and sharing the starter kit. So, but we want to always build this on a solid foundation. In order to truly grow your business, you need to treat this like a business and believe in your passion and believe in what you're doing. You need to believe in Stampin' Up. Yes, they have some issues that you might not like with back orders and things. Maybe their ordering system goes down for a little bit or something. These are not stopping items for you of earning the trip. I have people say, oh, there's too many back ordered items. I can't run my business. And I am like, that is a mental thing. I run my business, and so do thousands of other people, even with those back orders, and we excel and we do well. So you need to mentally get yourself in the right position. You're not going to blame Stampin' Up for anything. You are your own business. Did you know that? You are an independent contractor. You own your own business. You create your own business name and who you are. We just choose to use Stampin' Up products because they are the best on the market and they're awesome. It's a very established company. They've been around for over 30 years. That's who I want to partner with. I want to partner with experience, quality, and a coordination that is second to none, and a company that embodies some really beautiful beliefs. And that's who I choose to partner with for my business. You are the one who's in charge of your own business. You're going to be required to get out of your comfort zone. We are going to have to talk to people. I'm going to give you some tips on how personally I do it, even though I also don't like to talk to people. Personally, it's not something that I'm comfortable with, but we have to do it if our dreams and our passions are big enough. Also, don't prejudge anybody. Don't look just for crafters. Don't look for people who are wealthy or poor or anywhere in between. Don't prejudge anyone. We're going to offer this to everybody. And some people that you think would be great customers don't. And some people that will totally surprise you. So we have to offer this to everybody. Next week, we're going to focus on finding new customers this fall because then they will all blossom during celebration. I time this perfectly right now so that this training, so that you will be able to kick off immediately on October 1st, and then you will be able to work really hard at finding customers and getting more sales, but then celebration is when all of that fruition will come. You'll see a huge celebration when you've worked hard this fall. I need two main things out of you. Two main. One is a belief that you can do this, and I need a can-do attitude. One of these, you have to have these things because then the action will follow. If you have belief, then you will take action on what you believe in. If you have a can-do attitude that I'm going to do whatever it takes, then you're going to take action behind what you're doing. If you don't believe in yourself, if you don't believe in the company, if you don't believe in our product, if you don't believe that you have what it takes within you, then I can't help you. You have to have the belief first and that I can do anything attitude. Even if wherever you're starting, any of you can do it, I promise you. You're going to have to get out of your comfort zone, and it may be the only thing holding you back is your own mental state. There are a couple other things I put in here that are holding people back. is when you're using retired product at your events and when you're using contraband items like snail, envelopes, cardstock, only use your own products. These are things that I see that hold people back from earning the incentive trip. Questionable stamping, so you have to make sure that you're stamping things that are pretty and using our product and using coordination and simple and duplicatable. Sometimes people do stamping that you're mixing a bunch of things together or colors together, and then your projects actually don't look very good and people don't want to buy them. So this is something that could hold you back. So copying is a good thing. Make sure you're copying people who are selling. That's a great tip. You do not have to recreate the wheel. And lastly, poor customer service. That can hold you back. So what I need out of you is a belief and a can-do attitude, and to really understand I can't be using retired product. I can't be using contraband product. I got to look at my stamping to see if it's questionable. And are things straight? Are you using new, beautiful product? And is my customer service poor? Am I not doing my follow through, my thank yous? Am I being, some people at classes can be crazy and chaotic or not very patient with their customers, and then they lose their customers to that too. All right, lastly, we have homework. I kind of gave you through each one, but remember, get out your notebook so you can do this, and you're going to share your homework on our Facebook group. You need to clean your stamp area and your desk. Take a picture before and after and post it for us. Create your plan. That's your goal sheet. That's your flex points. How are you going to get here? Share it with your team leader, with your upline, so she knows what you're working towards. You guys can even work together. And then also share it on our Facebook group. Get specific about the numbers you need. These are specific numbers. This is not just a hair pie goal in the sky. We are going to make it happen with specific, realistic numbers. What are your business hours each day? What's your time management? When are you going to work? Fill out that hourly planner. Fill out your skeleton calendar. Create your visual. What's it going to be? Create it and share it with us. Lastly, who's your support system? Identify them. I gave you a ton of suggestions, and then talk to them. Share with them your dreams and your goals and what they can do to help you reach those so that you guys can all celebrate together. All right, so excited to take this journey with you. I will see you next week on a video where we're going to get specific about finding new customers and growing your sales. All right, bye-bye.